Could you kind of outline the process of a landscape designer?
Well, the process for me always starts with a phone call or an email from a prospective client. So I go to the first meeting to primarily listen.
Mary came out with a questionnaire, and she had this long list of questions: whether I like sun, whether I like shade, what kind of gardens I really like. And I'm not a gardener, and I tried to tell her many times that I tend to kill plants. So to please make it so I can't kill it.
On the Stettner project, she had just, her house had just been built.
And this was just mud and weeds.
Another sort of informational layer that I create is a shadow pattern study. This is me doing a quick study of the shadow patterns at 10 a.m. in the morning, at noon, and then at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. From 2 points in the year, the fall equinox and the spring equinox, September 23rd and March 21st.
It's like an abstract drawing.
Yeah, it is.
Beautiful.
So it's a little hard to see. This is just on a tracing paper, but this is basically my site measuring, or my base sheet that I started with right there on the site, where we've got all the details, all the existing elements are recorded here, and where I made notes too for myself, just to remember certain things about the view and privacy issues that I might want to remember while I'm doing the design.
The nice feature of this yard, nice and not so nice, is that the BART train goes right by. It's loud, but it looks really cool, and especially at night. So, you know, there's this idea of the hedges will go up a little high enough to hide most of the houses, but still be able to see the train.
I'll often assemble a series of what I call mood sheets, which are basically images that I've pulled from books or off the web and assemble them into a document that can help them understand. In this case, I'm trying to get them to visualize the paving that I'd like to design for their front yard and how it could look in a very geometric way.
When we built the house, I was very aware that most of the front yard was just driveway, and so I didn't want one big expanse of concrete.
The lines of the driveway were what sort of created the geometry that carried all the way through.
Putting together a collection of plants that are culturally compatible, regardless of how great all the plants look together. If they can't be irrigated next to each other, if they can't take the existing site conditions, then there's no point in them ending up on the plan. The challenges in this front entry was this rain chain coming down here in the location that it is. It was actually kind of a tripping hazard in a way.
Yes, it was.
So one of the ideas was to create these boxes around there that then is repeated here in these forms, using plants and these low steel boxes to tie in with the architecture and just create a nice flow as you come in the front door.
In the back, the challenges were a little bit different. We really needed to create division of space and make it feel like there were, multiple garden rooms, and doing that with plants. And so the spacing of the plants is a little bit tighter in the back. Right now it's still a little sparse because it's young, but eventually there'll be privacy screening in the back. There'll be this ring of, it's a Juncus. Pallidus, thank you. Sorry, it's a giant rush. There's some smaller native versions of this, but I believe this one's from China. And I'm looking to create a wall that's about this tall, so when you're sitting down, you can kind of see just over it into the next space, but you feel enclosed a little bit.
And actually, this is something I don't even know. Do these end up filling in so
Yes.
it becomes solid?
Yeah. One of the challenges we had with the existing deck and the step here was that there was a drop-off into the garden, so that we needed to create, obviously some sort of landing or way to get down to the main area of the garden. And one idea was to create a planted landing instead of just making it concrete or gravel or something.
And one of my main requirements was no grass. I didn't want any
Right.
grass in this yard at all.
Which would have been like an obvious
Right.
choice, but more maintenance for her in the long run. So we chose a really tough, very drought tolerant, very low plant Dimondia to eventually be a continuous carpet of this sort of silvery color. And they're very walkable, they're very tough. I mean, it's in the daisy family, as you can see. It's got these funny little daisy flowers with no stems on them. As you step down, it'll be, fairly easy.
Mm-hmm.